So, what did the Romans ever do for art? I wasn't going to say it, but it is a valid question. The Romans have been accused, as a result of their idolization of the Greeks, of being enslaved by the Greek aesthetic system. Even if this were so, it would be something to be grateful for. The Roman obsession with plundering or copying Greek statuary is one of the reasons we have such an awareness of what Greek art was. But did the Romans contribute something original? They adopted the Greek Pantheon of gods wholesale, just changing the names. They invented a foundation myth, the Aeneid, that gave them lineage from the Greek heroes of Troy. But despite the presence of Greek colonies on what is now Sicily and the Italian mainland, the Latins were a tribe who extracted themselves from primarily Etruscan influence after the 5th century BC. Their most enduring and iconic image of the Capitoline wolf shows strong Etruscan influence. So what did the Romans do that the Greeks didn't? Right from the beginnings, described by Livy, the struggle between the Latin city of Rome and its neighbours, famous example being that of the Fidenae. The story of Rome was one of military strategy, and later military technology. Strategoi was a Greek concept applied dazzlingly at Marathon. The Athenian Trireme was only improved by the Roman galley through size and the use of something called the corvus, a ladder which came down and grabbed hold of enemy ships. Siege warfare and fortification were the Roman genius. In the Republic and Empire, roughly corresponding to before Christ and after Christ, respectively, military leaders and then the succession of increasingly warped emperors were key figures. If there's one clear Roman invention, it's the portrait. The bust of the Athenian leader Pericles, who we heard of earlier, seems to be too idealized to be realistic. Even though, ironically, this is a Roman copy. It's in the British Museum. But Roman portraits benefited from their archaic tradition of having wax busts of ancestors in their houses, realistic busts, which were used on ceremonial occasions. Republican sculpture, therefore, celebrates the individual merits of great men through its veristic or warts and all representation. Not the ideal, but the man was the thing to celebrate. This style was overturned by the propaganda of Octavian, the self-titled Augustus, in his attempts to justify the abolition of the Republic. These two conflicting tensions between idealization and verism played out over the next 4 centuries, often taken to extremes, as in this famous portrait of the coiffured Commodus as Hercules. Eventually, the excesses of individual ambition were rejected in the age of the Tetrarchy, with 4 rulers, and verism gave way to symbolism thereafter, and in the age of Constantine. The Romans didn't invent the arch, per se. The Mediterranean world had used vault arches in basements and in beehive domes, but the Romans turned the arch and its extension into the barrel vault, and its circular variant, the dome, into the support, apologies for the pun, for their entire civil engineering and architectural system. The Romans were nuts for arches. NVTS, nuts. Sorry. The Pantheon has been described as the first interior designed as an interior. That is to say, not dictated by the exterior building, thought of independently from inside. Its ceiling is a masterpiece of Roman engineering, using pumice, a volcanic stone full of air, to lighten the solid concrete roof nearer the oculus. The ceiling is thinner there, and coffering is used for lightness. Using coffering, you can take out large cubes of material, but the coffering maintains structural strength. And also there are thick side walls to take the lateral forces of the dome, like an arch. The Romans didn't invent recessional space. Pliny speaks of how the Greek Agatharchus identified a system to represent recessional space for stage design. The Romans used it, but neither the Greeks nor the Romans identified the system of orthogonals meeting at an infinite vanishing point. That would have to wait until the Renaissance. In the wall paintings that survive in Herculaneum and Pompeii and the House of Nero in Rome, the perspective lines do not meet. The Arch of Constantine. Couldn't resist the temptation to quote some Latin. Omnia mutantur nihil interit. Everything changes, nothing perishes. That's from Ovid, Metamorphoses. The Roman Empire of Constantine is the Roman Empire, unperished, but changed, with a Christian emperor, and its capital moved to Turkey. In a sense, Constantine I's arch, next to the Flavian amphitheatre, as the Colosseum is known, is a reflection of that change. Constantine, having won the Battle of the Milvian Bridge just outside Rome, using the sign of the cross, he actually had a vision of the sun as a cross, and heard the words, "In hoc signo vincit." You may have seen the engraving in places. It means, with this sign, you'll win. And there's a theory that this is actually a dog sun. It's something that happens when the sun rises in cold conditions and there's ice in the atmosphere, and it actually creates two separate suns on either side and a cross shape, a cross halo in front of the sun. It may be that Constantine saw this. It's an attempt in Constantine's arch to recapture the classical Roman styles from before the 3rd century crisis and the impersonal, abstract style of the Tetrarchy. And it does this by reusing sculpture from other monuments, notably Trajan's column, but it's triple arched following Eastern Empire prototypes, and also features Constantinian sections in the new style, the beginning of Byzantium, which we'll come back to later.